So let's start with Castle Rock. Next is Castle Pines. Now let's talk about Highlands Ranch. Another area that has a completely different feel is Littleton. Then there's Elizabeth. And then there's parts of Aurora. Hi, I'm Debbie Nesiba, broker owner of Dream Homes of Colorado. And if you're thinking about moving to Parker, Colorado, but you're not completely sure if it's the right fit, I want to walk you through a few nearby areas that you should really consider. Because one of the biggest mistakes I see buyers make is getting locked into one specific area without realizing there might be a better option just a few minutes away. And sometimes just a small change in location can completely change your day-to-day lifestyle. So let's go through a few areas near Parker and what makes each one a little different so you can start figuring out what might actually fit you best. So let's start with Castle Rock. Castle Rock sits just south of Parker, and for a lot of buyers, it ends up being a really strong alternative. One of the biggest differences is that Castle Rock has more of a defined downtown area. There are restaurants and shops and more of a central place where people gather. So if you like the suburban feel of Parker, but you also want a little more of that go out and do something vibe nearby, Castle Rock might feel like a better fit. You'll also find a mix of newer homes and more established neighborhoods. So there's a little more variety depending on what you're looking for. The trade-off is you are a little farther south, so depending on your commute or where you need to go regularly, that's something to think about. Next is Castle Pines. This is going to be more of your upscale option. Castle Pines tends to have a higher price points, more established neighborhoods, and a quieter, more tucked away feel overall. A lot of people are drawn to it because it feels a little more private and a little more elevated compared to some of the surrounding areas. It's also closer to I-25, which can make commuting a little easier depending on where you're headed. So if you're thinking that you're looking for something that feels a little more refined, a little more peaceful, and you're comfortable with the higher price point, Castle Pines is definitely worth considering. Now let's talk about Highlands Ranch. Highlands Ranch is going to be closer to Denver and also a bit closer to the mountains compared to Parker. It's a very established community with a lot of amenities, parks, trails, recreation centers, and a strong neighborhood feel. You'll find that it feels more built out and less focused on new construction compared to Parker. There's not a lot of open land there. For a lot of buyers, that's a big plus. It feels more settled, more mature, more predictable in terms of what that area is going to look like long term. And if being a little closer to Denver or having easier access to the mountains is important to you, this is definitely an area to consider. Another area that has a completely different feel is Littleton. Littleton has more character. You'll find older homes, mid-century homes, mature trees, and in certain areas a more historic feel. It doesn't have that newer master plan community vibe that Parker has, and for some people that's exactly what they're looking for. It is also closer to places like Red Rocks, which is a huge bonus for a lot of people. So if lifestyle, character, and being closer to the mountains or outdoor activities matters to you, Littleton is a very strong option. Then there's Elizabeth. This is where things really start to shift. You're going to get more space, more land, and a much more rural feel compared to Parker. Homes can sit on larger lots, and there are a lot of people looking for that, and you're going to have more privacy. But with that comes more driving, so your day-to-day errands, commute, and access to things are going to take more planning. For the right person, though, this is exactly what they want: a quieter lifestyle, more room, and a little distance from the busier suburban areas. If you work from home, this might be perfect for you. And then there's parts of Aurora. There are newer communities out there that are still very close to Parker, and sometimes you can find different price points or options that you may not see directly in Parker itself. It's not always the first place people think of, but depending on your budget and what you're looking for, it can open up some great opportunities. At the end of the day, Parker is a great option for a lot of people, but it is definitely not the only option. And sometimes just expanding your search a little bit can make a huge difference in what you find. So instead of locking yourself into one area right away, it's really worth exploring a few of these side by side to see what actually fits your lifestyle best. I'm Debbie Nesiba, broker owner of Dream Homes of Colorado. And if you are thinking thinking about moving to Parker or anywhere in the Denver metro, please feel free to reach out to me. I would love to help you figure out which area actually makes the most sense for you.